Hey, this is Vu, and this is 4 levels of positioning from beginner to professional, and I've brought in an actual CS Pro to add some clips at the end. But to start with here, we've got the beginner level, and this is going to be Xenastic. He is Silver 3 here on Inferno. And he's actually going to have success in this round, but I think on average, the play he makes positionally is not that great. So what's going to happen is he's got aggressive here in apartments, nothing wrong with that. He now is going to end up with the information that the final 2 terrorists, as one will die, are top banana, and he has 2 players in B site on his team. So all he needs to do here to win the round is make sure that the T's can't rotate back down banana, kill him, and take the A bomb site, as the CTs will be on a very long rotate, and in fact, in that 2v2, very likely the T's are in a pretty big advantage. They should be winning that the majority of the time. So positionally, he doesn't have to get aggressive here. He just needs to hold an off angle and ensure he can get at least one as the T's rotate back down if they choose to do so. But instead, what he's going to do is he's going to walk into the open here in middle, and in fact find a timing where he's in the middle of the open essentially as they come around the corner. Now he will get both kills here, and that's going to win his team the round, but really in CS you're trying to maximize your expected value, which means you're trying to put yourself in situations where you win as much as possible against a variety of opponents. And in this case, if he had played a bit more passive, he would have a higher chance of winning on average, because the T's very well could have swung out there, taken him down, and gone 1 for 0, and then been in a perfect spot to close out the round. Instead, if he plays back, plays an off angle in alt middle potentially to catch them off guard, he's going to have much more consistent success. Next up, we've got Havino, a Gold Nova 1 player here on Cash, and he's going to be playing with an AUG in towards Fence or NBK. And he has no utility, which is relevant to note. Not that it's the end of the world, but it does mean when he gets spotted out in this position, he's going to have to be a bit more aggressive and try to get out of this location. Otherwise, he can easily be mollied and taken down, whereas if he had a smoke, he could smoke off the molly and try to survive. So as he's playing this angle, he could be holding a bit of a wider angle to catch the players as they cross fork, because it's awkward to deal with. But once he gets that kill, he actually does the aggressive bit of the play. He goes for the peek into A main, but he doesn't corral that into actually moving out of the spot. Once he goes for that peek, he's now done the dangerous part of the play. You get the initial kill, and you try to quickly peek out onto A main, catch anybody that's potentially in your field of vision off guard before they've got that information relayed over to them that you're in the angle. But as soon as that is empty, the obvious play is to get out of that area. Instead, he peeks out, spots them out, nobody's there, goes to grab the AK, then gets trapped in, and when he hears the Molotov being thrown, he assumes it's being thrown at him, and he has to YOLO out of position trying to get kills, and he just gets taken down. If he had simply got the kill, cleared the angle, and immediately repositioned, he would have been able to play out the round in a much more effective manner. Next up, we'll take a look at Debugs, who is a DMG level player, and you're going to see him make a fairly common positional mistake in that he's going to get himself out of position and in an awkward spot trying to save a teammate who he shouldn't really be trying to save. So you're going to see me over here with the scout just going way over aggressive looking for frags, and Debugs, in an effort to try and make his way over and support, he's going to go through no man's land here in halls. And typically you either want to be aggressive early or not at all when you're looking at apartments play, because walking down long hall like this is just a death trap. If someone peeks out on him as he's in the middle of the open, he has no way to fall back. And although this actually does go well for him here, when you're looking at positioning, you're often looking at percentages, and this is not a high percentage situation, because this can easily turn from a 5v3 into a 3v3 if I die and then he gets peeked out on and subsequently dies, which very well could have happened, because I fall there, he gets peeked out on, he has a nice little off angle on the edge there, hugging the right wall. It does catch them off guard, but still he could have been taken down, and that would have been disastrous. Afterwards, he makes a really great play. He's going to make his way over to back pit here. And when you're in low number situations, especially if you have to solo the A bomb site, there's almost no better location to get. And the reason this location is so great is because it's very playable. You can be up here on the bike on top, you can peek from the bottom left or the right, you can survive around it for a long time, and you can isolate a lot of angles playing around this wall. So he's going to make his way back here. Early round, this sometimes can be troublesome if you don't have any utility because you often get mollied out, but when you're in a situation like this, already the T's have wasted almost all of their utility and he knows it. He's just going to play back here and he's going to play around this masterfully. So the first kill he's going to grab, he peeks out on Sunshine, misses the initial shot, and then re-peeks, which is a little bit suspect, but the re-peek on the player here up on balcony is perfect. He knows that player, not only is he trying to force his way out of a choke point from hulls, but also he knows his gun is resetting accuracy. He knows he can go for the re-peek and get the easy kill. So he made a bit of a mistake just trying to support a player that wasn't really savable early on in the round, but later on, he makes some great plays and closes out the round well. Here we've got Bleus, an MG level player, and he makes a pretty good play here at the start, but you're going to see how indecision causes his positioning to be quite poor later on in the round. So as he makes his way over, tosses the molly down, good to clear out the angles. This flash isn't perfect, but luckily for him, Eons is just completely lost and in a terrible spot, gets the easy kill, and he'll finish off the player in the bomb site as well. It's what happens afterwards that I think is not quite perfect. So he's going to rotate his way back around. This isn't really the part I'm focusing on, but you can see he tosses a smoke in the middle of the open, runs around while it's not quite bloomed yet, and then gets his way into the bomb site. And if you just watch how he makes his way around, you're going to understand how this is a bit awkward. He has now run from checkers through the middle of B main into the bomb site, back out of the bomb site, and into checkers. And now he has finally made his way into a good after plant position. Typically, when you're going into the bomb site, you want to try and make sure you're choosing a location and kind of playing generally around there for the majority of the round. The longer you're in the open, repositioning over and over, the more chance you have of being caught in the open when a flash comes through or someone pushes through a smoke and taken down. Especially this is true when you look at B bomb site. When you're looking at the bomb site itself, typically you only want the bomb planter to cross if you can at all help it, because it's easy to get trapped into the bomb site if your opponents toss down some utility through heaven or through tree and you're blinded out, have to sit in there, and then your smoke CT dissipates. There's no way for you to get out, and having multiple players in the bomb site isn't nearly as good as having the bomb planter, who is almost always going to be trapped in the bomb site, stuck in there with two teammates towards something like checkers and B main playing more of a crossfire. That being said, once we're into this situation here, this is actually a perfect spot for Bleus to be in. He can hold the vents play, and he can help deal with B main as well, where he knows a player is coming from. His teammate is also going to grab a kill, and at this point, he doesn't need to do anything. Positionally, they are in perfect spots to ensure a 2v1 whenever Bowl Cut makes his way across and tries to push his way in. Essentially, he can wait for Nowalski to make contact and then immediately peek out, and there should be no way Bowl Cut can actually win that. Instead, Bleus is going to get over-eager, get a bit antsy here, and peek out on Bowl Cut, which actually gets him killed, and that's really the only way they can possibly lose this round. That being said, Nowalski will finish it off, but if Bleus had played a little bit more patient, waited for contact to be made, there is a no % chance they lose that round. With him dying there, it's into a 1v1. He could have hit a Deeg shot onto Nowalski and actually picked up the victory. Next up, we've got Zifter, who is Face It rank 5, and he's actually got a very nice play here. Initially, nothing too interesting. He's going to get the kill on the player in towards checkers, drop down, and make his way over towards the bomb site. What gets interesting is when this opper misses the shot and he strafes wide. He makes the opper shot very hard to hit, and not only that, as he strafes wide, he ignores that opper in the bomb site. What could be happening here, and what will often happen, is that opper tries to re-peek onto the same angle, and Zifter has crossed past that angle in the time allotted, meaning that opper, if he does go for the re-peek, either will not see Zifter and Zifter won't see him, or Zifter could see kind of the elbow or the shoulder of the opper, while the opper can't see him at all because he's so far out. And very nicely, while doing so, he recognizes he's likely to spot a player out in the bomb site and focuses on that angle instead. Afterwards, you're going to see him strafe back towards the B main side on the left, and that's where things are a little bit more questionable. The idea is nice, where you try and make it so the opper is looking where you were and you're in a totally different spot. That's perfect to try to do. However, if he strafed out to the right instead of the left, he would make it much harder for the opper to get the kill without at least getting traded, and he would have to extend a little bit further. The idea behind strafing left is the opper is going to over peek into the angle, and you're at an angle where you can see him and start shooting before he's at all ready. But if he strafed to the right, he would be kind of teaming up with his teammate a little bit more and making sure that that opper would get killed even if he hits this nice shot that he does. We'll have another round here from Bleus. This is going to be a pistol round, and again, he is an MGE level player, and the problem I have here is that he's kind of sitting in the middle of the open more often than he should. Typically, you want to be near cover whenever possible, so if you get double peeked or you have to reload or anything goes wrong in general, you can easily unpeek. And sometimes this does go out the window when it comes to pistol rounds, however, not in this specific case. So what he's going to do is he's going to be in the middle of the open, the direct middle of the open there, then he's going to move forward, put himself even more into the middle of the open, and then remain in the middle of the open for quite a while trying to support his teammate. Now, while he was trying to support his teammate there, and that's fine, typically, he could have supported his teammate from the actual corner jiggling, and he certainly wanted to be moving at least a little bit to make himself hard to hit regardless. Of course, sitting in the expected angle and getting pre-fired isn't perfect, but sitting in the middle of the open is not perfect either. And the same goes for this next position here. This is actually a very nice off angle when you have a rifle because it's not something people typically check, and you can get a bit of a spray down. However, when you're looking at pistol rounds, you have to sometimes reconsider what off angles are good and what aren't, and I'm not a huge fan of this one as an off angle with pistols because it's very hard to pick up more than one kill here, as Glocks are very likely to be strafing onto your screen with multiple players, and once there's 2 to 3 Glocks looking at you, you're usually not in a very good spot. When it comes to pistols, you almost always want to be playing a spot where you can take a few shots and reposition and do so over and over and over. Instead, he's playing behind the fountain here, and he will actually land a very nice shot to get a kill. However, he instantly dies following because he had nowhere to go. He missed the first shot initially, he had to re-peek on the other side of the fountain, not much better, and then even though he hits a very nice shot, he's going to die there the majority of the time. Typically, I would hope you would play an angle with at least a little bit more playability, like for example, the pillar. Although I'm not a huge fan of the pillar either, it does give you a bit more room to maneuver around than the fountain. So for an advanced level game, I've got one of my own here. This is just a matchmaking game, and I'm typically a face it 10 player, around 2500 elo. So this is a bit below my level, and I do make some aggressive plays, but in general, it's a very good example of positioning. So also, I typically don't like opping B either. That's why I'm playing from window here, especially when you're playing with a mid player that you don't know that's probably not supporting you very effectively. Staying inside of the site feels like a death trap. It's very awkward, and getting more than one kill is not necessarily going to happen all that often, so I play from the window. Then as the molly ticks down and I know they're not actually hitting B, I go for this peek on top of the big box here, and I found this is really effective at dealing with someone that's trying to catch players that are jumping onto plat. This is a somewhat common thing I've seen. An opper or SG player might sit in the back of tunnels there waiting to catch someone as they jump onto the ledge to get onto platform, so I peek from on top of the box. Usually it's a free kill. Then I go for the aggressive peek there. You know, it is matchmaking. I'm going a bit more aggressive than I might otherwise, but clearing that angle out isn't a bad idea. Then my teammate makes contact in middle, so I go and take a different angle. I take this angle back here towards window. Typically, what you're thinking of when you're opping is to play towards platform. However, that angle can get quite awkward if they're splitting mid and B, and you get taken down from window and doors, and potentially they Molotov you out of position. Instead of allowing that type of thing to happen, what I decide to do is play near the window, and if they make contact middle, I can easily turn and take at least one shot, and if shit hits the fan, I can actually push out window and we can kind of give up B in order to deal with the mid side of the mid B split, and we can play a retake. Then my teammate's going to end up dying here, and I'm going to stay in the same spot where I'm trying to make sure what I want to do here is put pressure on the mid players, hopefully get a kill, and draw out the tunnels player by putting that pressure, then focus on it. So you're going to see me here. I'm going to grab a kill on this player that's pushing out mid to B, then I'm immediately going to try and focus down on potentially two players coming out tunnels, so that if they are coming out off of that contact, which, you know, they are not in this case, but they could have, I would be in position to get those kills. So just trying to isolate window here in this exact position. I'm trying to make sure that if they come in doors or window, I'm not vulnerable while I'm able to deal with tunnels with a bit of an awkward to clear off angle here. And, you know, my teammate is going to support, and as he gets this kill, I'm actually going to turn, which almost gets me killed here. However, you know, I get the easy kill on the final player, end of the round, and it's not too complicated there. Just some decent positioning as a B site player, which can sometimes be awkward. The key is to play a bit aggressive and make sure that you're not trapped in and focused down. Next up, we've got Davey, essentially an ex-professional player, although he has played somewhat recently as a stand-in, and he is, of course, the second best looking person on Peeker's Advantage and Sonic's least favorite CSGO caster. He actually didn't really introduce himself for these clips, so I'll be doing that for you. I'll give you an idea what it sounds like. Hey guys, it's Davey, desk host, analyst, personality, streamer, and thanks for inviting me on this channel. I can't believe he would do it. Can't believe he's done this. Let's look at some clips.
Okay, so right here, I'm just sitting at Trybox, and I'm just spotting. You see Katie's up on the top there. She's just playing anti-flash in case they run in, and I'm just shoulder peeking. I'm just trying to take first contact in case they do just decide to walk in. The chances of them walking in at this point, so you see like they're right there, I just start to throw a counter flash, but the chances of them just walking in and not throwing some sort of nades first is super low, which is why I still need to shoulder peek just in case, but I'm not actually in much danger, and neither is Katie, because we should know that they're coming at least a second before they actually get in. So that's why I'm just shoulder peeking. I throw that quick counter flash to slow them down, and then we'll just keep this clip rolling. We'll just keep it rolling. So now I'm just hiding. I get mollied out, so I held my smoke the whole time. I put out the smoke. I peek and get one. My teammate tells me, so let me just go back real quick. So right here, I peek out and get this first one while Katie's fighting. So the reason why I peek that first time is because Katie was still alive and fighting. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking the angle on this left side where the people coming in on the right over here can't actually see me yet. So that's why I'm taking this fight here while Katie is still alive, because these people should be looking towards her, and if they're looking at me, then she can kill them, and if they look at her, then I can kill them. So that's why I take that fight. Then my teammate who's rotating CT right here, he's telling me that he's going to flash above new box. So after I get that first kill, you're going to see me, I'm going to hide again right here. I wait for the flash, I re-peek, I get a second one, second flash comes in, he stays hidden, and now at this point, it's 4 versus 2. I've done my job, Katie's done her job. But you see, we still have Calm in the pit here. He hasn't rotated yet because we hadn't called the bomb, so he hasn't moved. And Poland's rotating in CT. And I have a teammate, Flom, who just threw the 2 flashes. Now he's in backhaul here, and he has this line right here. That should be smoked off probably, though. But so what I'm doing now is I just need to stay alive. I need to stay alive for as long as I possibly can. I don't need to try to get another kill now. I just need to try to give my teammates as much time as possible to rotate. So they actually molly me out, and I end up dying to the molly. There was nowhere for me to go, really. And so, but you see what it did is it gave Calm a little bit of time to flank. The second person's already close CT, and now this smoke here should be faded, and Flom can hold this line now with his op.
Next up, Davey's going to break down a pretty specific situation. I cut the rest of the round because it really wasn't very interesting, but this bit is actually really cool, where he's hiding behind this silo here as his teammate defuses the bomb. They've actually mollied off the right side of ramp, and they know both players are there, so the way Davey plays this out is something you can certainly bring into your own games.
So okay, so now we know they're both ramp. Look at where the bomb is planted. If the bomb is planted right there, in order for the people ramp to kill my teammate, they have to push forward. So I don't want to give them free kills, because if I just die here now, they can freely push and it puts Calm in a terrible spot. But just me being alive means for them, they have to run forward knowing at any point I can peek and kill them. So at the very least, it gives Calm a 1v1 and it gives me a 1v1, at the worst case scenario. So you see here, I'm like peeking, and now I'm just hiding, and I'm peeking, and I'm shoulder peeking, and you see what I did? Right there is I forced this guy to move forward. I think it was Fugly. I forced him to move forward. By only giving him shoulder peeks and not fully committing to a fight, he knows that Calm could just be sticking the bomb right now, so he has to run forward. And by going and switching my angle, I caught him now when he was trying to move forward. And as soon as I get that kill, you see I hide again, so I don't give Smooya the shot. Because as long as I don't give Smooya a shot, Calm is in the process of defusing the bomb, and then Smooya has nothing to do, and he has to get away. So there, I'm just trying to stay alive and not let them kill me for free. I have to make them move towards Calm because they can't kill him without coming out of their positions. And if you want to try to peek them when they're moving, obviously, because they can't kill you if they're moving. Well, they can, but it's not as likely. It gives you the best chance of winning the round. So now it's 3 versus 3. I know I have two teammates mark it. We know that there's a guy towards short. That had been communicated, or I heard it, or something. Something happened where I knew there was a guy towards short. So I'm like, okay. So right now, at this point, my teammates are both market. I need to start eliminating spots where they can be. Because right now there's a few places they could be, right? The chances of them being E-box is really low, like right outside the market. It's just a bad post-plant spot, and most of the players in this game right here wouldn't play a spot like that. It just doesn't, they'd have to be in a really bad position to get to that point. And because they had so much site control when they planted, they would have gotten to good post-plant spots. So the chance of somebody being E-box is really low. So they can be bench, they could be empty pillar, they could be towards default, they could be under the windows, or they could be van, right? Those are like the spots they can be. So I'm just going to molly out the van here just to eliminate that spot. So I molly, nade, and then I hold for him to leave. He peeks into me. It's a kill. So at this point, we know there's one short and the other guy's missing. E-box is clear now. I've officially cleared it. And chances are he's not default, because if the guy would have been default, he should have peeked with his teammate who was just van. Like there's a chance he was just sitting default and baiting, but if he was default, he should have peeked with his teammate there, so we would have got that info. So I'm just in my head, I'm just playing the odds here, right? Okay, odds are he's not default. We know van is clear. He's definitely not under the windows. So we thought bench and short are the two spots they most likely are at this point right here, right? So we push up. I'm holding bench, you see. I'm like peeking short, slow peeking, shoulder peek. I just hit a Krieg shot on steel. And then at this point, so Semphis came out and he was clearing bench, as you can see. So we were checking everything, and then we didn't expect Infinite to just be sitting in empty pillar. It's not a very good post plant spot, but he might have just got stuck there. And so he was sitting empty pillar. So now I'm coming out, and right here I see him. So now I see him, I do damage to him. I know I lit him up a bit, right? My teammates call it he's lit. I thought he was more lit than 40 HP, but I still knew he was lit. So the issue I'm going to have now is I have to get off this platform somehow without him killing me, because he knows also Infinite's a good player, so he knows that there's a timing he can hit me on where if he gets me when I'm falling, he has the best chance of killing me. So there's two options in a situation like this. One, you just sit on the platform and hope that they peek you, or you need to somehow get off the platform very quickly and make it so that there's the least chance they have of hitting you. So I take the latter approach. So I jump, and by jumping how I jumped here, I'm just going to slow this down actually real quick. So when I'm jumping like this, I'm jumping up so that if I'm strafing to the left so that if he wide swings the right side, I'm pretty safe. I'm also jumping over, and then I'm strafing back to the right now so that he just didn't have much chance to see me or shoot me if he did peek. So no matter which side he peeked, my legs would have been, like my feet might have been the only thing that's visible, and I'm going to land I'm going to land right behind the pillar, and I'm going to pre-fire this right side, because I thought he might have been peeking from that right side if he was trying to abuse that timing. So that's why I pre-fired that right side, because he might have been trying to abuse that timing if he heard the footstep. He thought he might have been wide swinging, but he actually decided to go to the left instead. So you see, he did what I thought he was going to do. I just guessed the right side, and he actually went to my left side, his right side. So it was well played by Infinite too. Like that timing was what he should have. Like he abused the timing well. We just both happened to guess the opposite side of the way each person went. And then I just pre-fire around the corner and just finish him off and then defuse it. But that timing thing is really important, and you have to try to play the odds in every situation you're in your mind. You have to like decide, okay, what is the most likely thing he's going to do, and what is the most likely thing or the highest chance thing I can do to win the round. So you have to decide in your head. You have to like be able to calculate it in that moment. Is how can I best put myself in a chance to win this round? And that if you take that approach to every single situation you're in, it's more of like a macro concept than it is like this small details like this. But if you take that approach to every time you're in a position like this, you would just increase your chances of winning the round. You can't win every time. It's impossible to win every single 1v1. But if you play the odds in every single situation that you're in, obviously your chances of winning the rounds will improve.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. That was it for today. If you enjoyed the content, go give Davey a sub on Peeker's Advantage. I don't think he really uses his own YouTube channel. Give a sub to the channel here, to Voo CSGO. Hit up the Patreon. I don't know, hit up my computer fund so my Sony Vegas doesn't crash after working for 8 hours and lose everything. Even though I saved it, it just decided to fuck me. All right, just do all those things. Come back for the next video. Just know I love you. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.
And I just push out to kill the guy outside the window. And then, yeah, I just nade, flash, and just wide swing like a bot and just kill the guy. But the positioning there, the reason why I played on the barrel was to avoid flashes mostly and to be able to pivot quickly between the two things. One thing Vu pointed out when he was watching it, which I didn't even realize I did at the time, but like, so the flashes come over, and then I turn and I move forward on the barrel, just so that anybody that comes through the door, they don't just like see me when they're at the door. They have to actually come through the door to see me. It's just a small thing, but like those little things like that could save you, because like sometimes a guy will run to the door and try to look back plat, and the farther I am forward, the least likely he is to see me. Cutler to be there with me, not making noise, not peeking, because Cutler was baiting me the whole time, fucking baiting pussy. But Cutler gets both kills. Bald-headed man gets all the kills, and we close that one out.